So if you know me at all, you know that I am a big fan of Costco, which probably sounds silly to you, but you probably would not think that a college job pushing carts, stocking shelves, sweeping floors, and selling hot dogs would teach you much at all about entrepreneurship. Today I want to talk about the lessons that I still implement in my business every single day that I learned during my college job working at Costco. So back when I was in school, I obviously was just looking to pay the bills. I had a visual merchandising job at a different clothing retailer, which was really fun, and the pay was terrible. And I had a coworker there who was like, "Hey, you should apply at Costco. They pay really well and they have good benefits." And so I was like, what the heck, why not? Applied there, got the job, and let me tell you, it was not glamorous. It was really hard work. There were days that I came home and just could not believe how exhausted I was. But it gave me a front row seat to how a company with a really strong brand, clear values, and who empowered their employees could really excel and run like a well-oiled machine. So in this episode, I'm going to take you behind the scenes of my time working at Costco and share the exact lessons that I learned there that I have carried into Spect & Co. today, from team culture to customer experience. These lessons are equally as relevant to a service-based business as they are to a big box store. So if you would like a little peek behind the curtain, then let's dive in. Welcome to the Six Figure Brand Podcast, where each week we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to build a six-figure business as an online service provider. I'm your host, Morgan. I'm a branding expert, online agency owner, mom of two, and military spouse, and I'm obsessed with helping entrepreneurs like you understand the ins and outs of branding so that you can use it to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. Whether you're just starting out or focused on scaling, we're diving into everything you need to build a profitable and sustainable online business. Let's get to it. Costco will forever hold a very special place in my heart. It wasn't my first job, but it definitely was my first job that felt like a grown-up job. I also met my husband while I was working at Costco, so that's a pretty cool story to tell. And I just really felt like I came into my own as a person and as an adult while I was working there. So I got hired at Costco in 2015. It was my junior year of college, I believe. And I started out working on the front end. So boxing groceries for people. I pushed a lot of carts. I also had a turn in the bakery and the deli and the food court. So I got a good experience of kind of all the things that they do there. And honestly, I loved it. I still tell people today, if I had not already been in college and known what I wanted to do whenever I grew up, I could have easily stayed at Costco and made a career out of it and done very, very well for myself. Now, keep in mind for context, while I was working there, I was going to school for graphic design, and my goal was to get a job at an ad agency or a magazine or something in marketing. So the idea of owning my own business was nowhere on my radar while I was pushing carts from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day. But looking back, I learned so much about business and treating people and having employees and branding and all of that stuff from my managers and my coworkers and honestly even my customers than I did in a lot of the business and marketing classes that I took in college. So now that I've shared a little bit of my personal story and why Costco is so near and dear to my heart, I want to take a quick sec to kind of educate you on why Costco is such a big deal in the business world if you're not familiar. So they're a big box store. Obviously, you can buy 5 gallons of laundry detergent and 128 rolls of toilet paper and 10 pounds of flour. But they're not just a big box store. They really are a global retail giant who has a fiercely, fiercely loyal customer base. So to use myself as an example, and I'm for sure a little bit of an outlier here, I buy absolutely everything I possibly can at Costco. We buy our toilet paper there. We buy our tires there. We buy our cleaning products. We buy almost all of our meat and fruit there. If there is something that I can buy at Costco, I will buy it there before I go to the regular grocery store. As of 2023, so a little bit of an outdated stat, but they operate over 860 warehouses, serving nearly 128 million members, and they bring in about $250 billion in revenue annually. But the thing that makes this all really special is that they've done it without advertising, with a very minimal product selection, and with one of the smallest markups in the entire retail industry. So I think what really makes them stand out is that their business model is built on simplicity, trust, and value, which I think is something that as online business owners, we can really learn a lot from. They have a reputation for treating their employees exceptionally well, and I can attest to that from experience. And finally, they have a truly relentless focus on delivering the highest quality product at an unbeatable price. So before I worked there, I always thought that Costco was where you went to get the cheapest option. And that's not true. Rather, Costco is where you go to get a good value for a product that you know is for sure going to be high quality. And if it turns out that it isn't, they will take it back and make it right. And I think that that level of integrity is definitely something that we can learn from. So Costco has become the third largest retailer in the US, not through hype or flashy marketing or expensive ad campaigns, but through truly just operational excellence and unwavering consistency. So even though they sell $5 rotisserie chickens and giant tubs of peanut butter, there really is a ton that we can learn from them as online service providers. So that's what we're going to talk about for the rest of this episode. First and foremost, and I have touched on this already, lesson number one, care about your people. And this means both your people as in your team and your people as in your customers. But we're going to mostly talk about team here. So like I said before, Costco has a really strong reputation for treating its employees well. And I can tell you that from experience. Even as a 19-year-old part-time employee who had been there like 6 months, I had paid vacation, I had health insurance, I had a 401k, I got paid time and a half if I worked on Sundays, we had all the federal holidays off. There is nowhere else that 19-year-old Morgan could have worked that would have taken care of her in that way. I also was in college at the time, and they were phenomenal about working around my school schedule and giving me time off whenever it was finals week and I couldn't work as much, and any of those things that I just think that you don't find at every part-time job. As far as caring for your team, I think it also really stood out to me that my managers really showed up. And when I had a problem, they listened to me and they fixed it and they helped. And it wasn't an issue of, oh, that's beneath me, or you just are a new person, so you need to suck it up. None of that mattered if you were part-time or full-time or new, or you had been there 25 years. Everyone mattered. And I don't think that I just got lucky and had good managers. I think that was really baked into the culture of Costco. And so the lesson here really is that when your team feels cared for, they're going to show up for you. I busted my butt working at Costco. I distinctly remember a time that I was working on the front end and somebody had picked up one of the 6 packs of muffins when you were supposed to get 2. And so I had to run back and get one. And I physically ran back. And the customer was so blown away of like, oh, I didn't expect you to actually run. I was just going to wait. And I was more than happy to, because I knew that it was important to the company that we take good care of our customers. And I knew that if I did that, then they would also take good care of me. So in the context of online business, whether it's a VA or a designer or a copywriter or anything that you're going to hire in your business, things like clear communication and building trust and mutual respect really go a long way in getting them to work just as hard for your business as they do for their own. Next, and I probably am going to say this on all these points, one of my favorites, nobody is too good for any job. So one of my jobs previous to Costco was at like a pizza place. And I remember we had a manager who was like, I'm the manager, I don't clean floors. I'm the manager, I don't bust tables. And it just really would grind my gears. And there was none of that at Costco. So we had managers who were making like well over 6 figures. And when there was a lot of carts that needed to be pushed inside at the end of the night and it was pouring down rain and it was going to take us forever to finish it, they were out there getting rained on, pushing carts with us. And that really stood out to me. I remember the district manager, I don't know, somebody way up and important came for a visit and I saw him walking around the warehouse picking up trash. And I was like, wow, that is pretty cool. And then it made me want to also do those things. So that mindset of kind of we're all in this together really shaped how I now try and lead my business as a business owner, whether that's replying to people who ask me questions in the DMs, a client reaches out and says, hey, there's something broken on my website, I really need your help. And I jump in to fix it. And I don't consider any of those things beneath me. And likewise for my team, I'm never, ever going to ask them to do something that I would not also do myself. So I think it's important for us to remember that having a huge ego does not build a sustainable business. It might get you a lot of followers and a lot of success in the short term, but your willingness to roll up your sleeves and put in some elbow grease alongside your team is going to really set the tone for not only your brand, but for the future of your business. Next is keeping things stupidly simple. So I talked about this in the intro, but Costco's customer experience hinges on simplicity. They have a very limited number of SKUs. Their signage is super clear and not overly flashy. Their store layout makes sense and it works. People trust it. So back to the point about limited SKUs, I talk about this a ton as far as decision fatigue goes. I know if you're an online business owner or a parent, you know what decision fatigue is. But at Costco, I talked about peanut butter earlier, so we'll use that for an example. You go down the peanut butter aisle and there's like 4 options. There's the Kirkland brand. There's either Jif or Skippy in probably crunchy and creamy, and then there's an organic one, and that's it. If you go down the peanut butter aisle at your local Walmart or Kroger or something, there are literally hundreds of options. I've never counted, but I feel confident saying that. And how many times do you stand in that peanut butter aisle and be like, do I want crunchy? Do I want creamy? Do I want organic? Do I want sweetened with honey versus sweetened with sugar? Do I want one that has the jelly already mixed in? There's so many options that you end up saying, I can't make up my mind. This is too overwhelming. And then you just don't pick anything. Costco gives you a small handful, like 2 to 4 options. You know, all of them are good and it's easy to pick between those 4. So I think the lesson here is really that simplicity builds trust. Having too many offers in your business creates confusion. Having too many different ways to pay creates confusion. Having a complicated booking process creates confusion. But if you have an offer suite that is like 2 to 3 options, a super easy, seamless booking process, and very simple sales copy, that's going to make it so easy for somebody to say yes to you. Next, focus on quality. A quality product will always win. So Costco's business model really relies on trusting the product. And I know from my insider knowledge that the buyers at Costco put a ton of effort into making sure that they are only buying the highest quality products. Similarly, I don't know if everyone knows this, Kirkland Signature brand products are manufactured at the same facilities as the name brand products. So the example I always use is Kirkland Signature vodka is made at the Grey Goose factory. So it is the same thing. The reason why Kirkland's able to sell it for so cheap is because they don't pay for advertising and they don't pay for flashy branding, and they're able to kind of shorten that sales pipe so that there's not so many steps in the process that are then adding to the price and adding to the price and adding to the price. There have been a lot of times that Costco has stopped selling a product because the manufacturer kept increasing the price and they weren't able to get it at a rate that they felt like was a good deal for their customer. So many times that has happened where somebody will come in and say, oh, hey, you used to have this product and now I don't see it anymore. And then come to find out that was why, because the manufacturer, for lack of a better term, got greedy and Costco said, no, we're not doing that to our customers. So as far as online business goes, good marketing can only take you so far. If your offer or your service or your product isn't high quality, people are not going to come back. They're going to know. You're going to develop a bad reputation for yourself. And as a service provider, I think the best thing that you can do is just deliver quality work. I say all the time that the best marketing strategy is treating your existing clients really well. And I think that's kind of the same thing here. Delivering work that is genuinely great is what creates referrals and loyalty and long-term success. And then people know, hey, when I hire Morgan to do my brand design, she's going to knock it out of the park and be solid and do everything she says she's going to do. Just like they know when they buy a product from Costco, it's going to be solid. It's going to be the best deal. And if it's not, they're going to make it right. And then finally, consistency. So consistency is what builds recognition and loyalty. When you go into Costco, you know what to expect. You know kind of what the layout of the store is going to be like. You know that you need to be a member. You know what their return policy is. You know that you're going to be able to get a hot dog and a soda for $1.50. And there's a lot of comfort in that, right? People are not jarred when they walk in by seeing something different than they're used to or not knowing where to find things. That consistency is huge. That is what creates trust in your business. And in online business, that might look like showing up consistently on Instagram. For example, I try every Monday to do a Mood Board Monday poll on my stories where people get to vote on which mood board they like. And people love that and they know to expect it every week. And when I don't post, I get messages of like, hey, is everything okay? It's Monday. Where's our mood boards? This is also going to look like delivering your projects on time, sticking to your brand vibe and your brand voice and your visuals when you're creating content for your brand. Repetition creates recognition, and recognition is what builds trust. So in branding, we talk about the know, like, trust factor. First, they know you, then they start to like you, and then they trust you. You will not get to that trust phase if you're inconsistent. So while I started working at Costco thinking it was just going to be a job to get me through college, it really was so much more than that. Aside from the fact that that's where I met my husband, and now we have a house and a dog and 2 beautiful kids, I really did learn so much about business by working there, and it really didn't dawn on me until many years after I had left that job. I learned how to care for my people. I learned how to lead by example. I learned how to build customer loyalty and how to create a brand experience that makes people want to keep coming back. And that is so, so valuable. And all of these are the same values that I bring into my client work and my coaching and all of the marketing that I put out into the world today, from how we communicate in projects, how we design a streamlined brand and website. All of this connects with each other. So my ask for you is to think about what was your, one of your first jobs or your college job, and what lessons did you learn that have kind of stuck with you that you carry into your business that maybe you didn't think about until right now. So DM me on Instagram and tell me, and I would love to connect with you. Thanks for tuning in to the Six Figure Brand Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to rate the show and leave a review on whatever app you're listening on. And as a thank you, I'll send you coffee on me. Yes, I'm serious. As a smaller show for now, you taking the time to do this makes a huge impact on how we can reach more people and how I can continue to create this content for free. When you take a screenshot of your review, follow and tag me on Instagram at @SpectandCo. I'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. As always, don't forget to check out the show notes for any links or resources I mentioned during the episode. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week.